Peace. It is a beautiful Sunday and it is 1:34 in the afternoon, and I haven't really had a sit down video like this with you guys. I've been promoting more of my van life experience because I was doing like more of my meditation videos, which is what I do every morning. So I thought, why not share it with you guys? And you guys are loving it. I appreciate the love for my meditation videos. You guys are awesome. I think it's important to choose something in life that you're able to give back. I'm very introverted, so being able to give back in my own space to you guys is perfect. And I think meditation videos, guided meditation videos, are just a beautiful expression of that. So that's what I chose, and you guys are loving it. So I appreciate that. So this video is actually going to be more geared towards just life, ebb and flow, and also procrastination, and how we know the difference. Because I think oftentimes we think that because we're not fully engaged in the things that we would like to see ourselves engaged in, that we're procrastinating. And oftentimes it's not about procrastination. Sometimes you're just evolving. And the things that you used to have passion for in the past, because you're evolving into this new being, you don't have passion for anymore. And your soul is asking you to take off the masks that we are wearing and that are old and that are used and no longer serve its purpose anymore, and replacing that with authenticity and honesty and truthfulness about where we are and where we're at. There is no shame in starting over, no matter what age you are. I'm 46. I live in my van full time. And this is something that I chose. I chose to let go of the materialistic bullshit that I just didn't need anymore because I was evolving. But at that moment in time, in those few years before I even started van life, I was going through a lot of anxiety and having panic attacks, which, knock on wood, I have not had in a very, very, very long time. And I had to sit back and ask myself, why am I going through this experience? Yes, I'm big on planetary shifts, right? I'm big on astrology, love it. I'm into the planetary shifts and understand that, we're connected to the universe. And so as things are shifting within the universe, we ourselves are also shifting. And the physical body has to be able to shift itself in order to maintain this new energy and these downloads that come through for us. So there's that. I'm aware of that. And there's also, as a woman, we're the moon. We go through different phases. As we get older, we go through different phases. As our body, transforms itself, we go through different phases. So there's also that aspect. But then another aspect that you have to sit back and really acknowledge is this me? Is this who I want to be going forward? Maybe like me, I was one of those people that wanted to be in corporate and loved the busyness. I've been in real estate ever since I was 17 years old. I've loved real estate. And, I'm just now realizing that I need to get out of that. I need to do something different, or begin to do something different that feeds my soul and that is guiding me into a more divine, a more divine alignment with all that I am and all that I'm becoming, right? So I wanted to say, don't be hard on yourself and just be able to kind of step out of your current experience and your current reality and be able to question, is this really serving my future self? Is this what I want to continue to experience and see? For my example of me wanting to be in corporate and having the Mercedes and having the homes and having a beautiful loft and all those experiences. I wanted to be married. I wanted to have children, and as things progressed and as time kept moving, it just began to be like this weight, and I just wasn't happy in it anymore. It was just heavy. I hated getting up every morning. I hated the sound of the alarm. And to appease my waking up to the alarm a little bit better, I started playing like beautiful music. So it wasn't that abrupt noise, right? So I was still masking. That's still a reflection of masking an aspect of yourself that you're in. And I made it better along the way, but it still wasn't the fullness of all that I desired. So you come to a space where you really have to sit back and maybe even journaling, sit down and ask yourself, is this where I want to be? The beautiful thing about ourselves is that we are infinite beings with limitless possibilities. The only limit that dwells is in here. We are creatresses, right? Speaking specifically to women, but also creators. We are creators. We give birth unto all things, which is a representation. Giving birth unto a child is a representation of how powerful this portal is that we have. And it doesn't just give birth to a child, it gives birth to ideas and experiences and realities, and when used in that balance of the left and right hemisphere of the brain, we begin to alchemize the energy around us and transmute the energy around us, kind of like a transformer. It's just one solid thing first, but as you begin to, whatever you do, whether you meditate, whether you pray, whether you have a moment of silence, whether you are in nature, that solid form begins to loosen itself. And then it begins to transmute it in this new way that you are going and putting yourself in. And concentrated thought and focus is super important, because the more attention you give something, the quicker it begins to create in a tangible form. And that's how you have to see yourself, and that's how you have to see your life. And your body speaks to us. Your body speaks to you, my body speaks to me. And when it's not in alignment anymore with an old version of yourself, especially when you're very intentional with your life, if you don't make the choices to move forward and and don't volunteer yourself to move forward, you are going to be dragged into that new reality. It's just part of the game. And then it makes it worse, because now you're in that resistant state, and the resistance is what causes all of the chaos for you not to be able to move through that transition with ease. And it's not to say that the contrast is going to stop being there. Contrast is always going to exist, but how you perceive your life and where you stand within yourself with your life is going to determine the intensity of the reality that needs to crumble and for the new to be able to rebuild itself. Yeah. So that's something that, before I'm like, man, I just procrastinate. I procrastinate. But is it really procrastination? And sometimes it is. But also, I have to get beyond the so-called normal of that everything that I'm doing is procrastination. Some things I just don't have a desire to want to do anymore, because it's not in my heart and soul to do it. I just don't want to do it. And I think creating a life, especially for us living van life, we have a little bit more leeway. Of course, depending on how you set yourself up, we have a little bit more leeway to kind of just be a little bit more gentler and be still with how we view our lives. Like, is this serving my purpose? And I've created this van life experience for myself because it allows me to move a little bit more easier. I don't feel like I'm tied down to mortgages and bills. I still have bills. My gas is my bill. My food is my bill. The fixes on the van is my bill. Now I have an office. That's my bill for my notary business and my holistic business. But I'm able to invest into the things that I love and that I'm passionate about. And that is the key to our lives. I don't procrastinate. When I had to get an office, I didn't procrastinate. When I want to travel, I don't procrastinate. When I want to get up and have a different experience, I don't procrastinate. When I want to try new food, I don't procrastinate. When I want to build a business that serves my soul, I don't procrastinate. Why? Because it's coming from my heart center. And that's who I truly am. When I'm living out of what is not me, and I'm living out of fight or flight, and I'm living off of survival mode, everything else that I choose from that specific energy is always going to look like procrastination, because I don't fucking want to be there. Who does? And I think that this is something that we really need to compartmentalize and not be so hard on ourselves, because your higher self is literally telling you, Mama or Papa, this is not it. This is not where we belong anymore. Hold on a minute. So, yeah, when are we going to make the moves? When are you going to finally sit back and take a moment to breathe and ask yourself if this is where you really want to be? How is this making me feel? Am I worth more than where I am currently at? What is my body trying to tell me? The less connected that we are to our physical bodies, the more that we end up thinking that something is constantly wrong with us, when that is not the case. We are in communion, mind, body, and spirit, or mind, body, and our energy field. It's constantly in communication, letting us know where we're not supposed to be. This doesn't feel right. You have this internal GPS that is clearly informing you. But when you're not in tuned and you're not living from your centered self, everything is going to look like it is against you when it's really there to support you, to let you know that this is not it or this is it. Make a left. No, I want to make a right. Like you're constantly in this battle because you're not listening to what your body is trying to tell you. Our senses are just not for eating. It's not just for tasting and smelling and all of that. It is like your antenna where you just sit back and you stand in the beautiful grass. You're looking at the sun. You're wide open. Your heart is open. Your hands are open. And you are literally closing your eyes and allowing the senses within you to feel what is happening around you. It is important that you do this and close your eyes to really, really hear and listen what is going on around you. And the more that you begin to practice with those senses, instead of eating out of depression or listening to bullshit that is not going to feed your future self and where you want to see yourself, or having random sex with people who just don't give a shit about you because you're looking for something that is going to fulfill the void that you currently have, which is only a small amount of satisfaction. All of the things that we do, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, just sit back for a moment and really feel through what you're going through. There is nothing wrong with that. It's very important to feel your shit as raw as you can. I do drink every once in a while, but I've gotten away from drinking like I used to. I don't smoke anymore. Let me tell you, I used to smoke weed like on a regular, but I was doing it because it wasn't out of just wanting to feel a certain way. It was masking how I was feeling. And there's a big difference. You know, it was my escapism. And sometimes we even use spirituality as escapism for not wanting to deal with our bullshit, because it's still, we're here trying to search for something external, when really we need to just be still and let whatever emotions and feelings, and all of those things that need to uproot themselves. And we need to sit with them in a raw form and look at ourselves in the mirror, and it's okay to feel that. If anything, it's a beautiful space to be in. You don't know the light until you've lived with your darkness in a raw state. That's where you really begin to find yourself, and so yeah, I just wanted to do this video because I think it's just super important of being able to recognize that sometimes what you consider your procrastination is actually you just wanting to evolve into a different state of yourself that is more living from your heart space and less in survival mode and less in flight or fight. And the steps that you can begin to do to get there is really be honest with yourself. What are your passions? What do you love to do? And eventually you're going to take a pocket amount of time, whether it's weekly, whether it's daily, whether it's a few minutes, whether it's watching a YouTube video, and you are going to start putting the energy out there, because here's what's going to happen. We have this beautiful relationship with the universe that is unconditional. It's unconditional love. The universe is constantly in your favor with everything. It will give you whatever you feel that you are worth, and at the abundance of which you feel you deserve. So the more that you begin, this is where the alchemist energy comes in. Back to that focus, right? Concentrated thought. The more that you begin to start planting new seeds of the things that you truly desire, no matter how much, it doesn't matter how much. What matters is the focus and the intention that you put on it. and the feeling and the happiness that it brings you and the joy that it brings you and the visualization of you seeing yourself there is what really is important, and being consistent in it every single day. And what's going to happen, one, you're going to start telling the subconscious mind that we're doing something different, because now you're putting new thought forms within your brain or within the subconscious mind. Two, it is now going to have this communion with now, okay, so this is what we're doing now. Let's start pulling in more experiences that are relating to this new seed that you've planted. And you don't worry about the time. The universe is not about the time. I put this on my video the other day. The universe is about your openness to the experience in order to bring it to you. And sometimes those old thought forms are going to come up and they're going to fester up because they're like, hey, but what about this story that we were telling all of these decades? All right, well, we're not talking about that anymore. We're not doing that anymore. We're talking about this new reality. This is the current reality that we're in. And this is where being delusional, as they say, being delulu comes in, because everything must be in the present moment. There is no yesterday and there is no tomorrow. Everything is in the present moment, right? So the more that you begin to tell your story that it's happening to you now, then you begin, the momentum moves a lot faster, because now you're telling yourself, this is where we are. We're not here anymore. We're not here anymore. We're not back there anymore. We are here in this present moment. So yeah, I just, this journey is a wild one, but the more that you begin to be in this rhythm of being intentional every single day, no matter what your situation is, we're all in it. We're all in here together. No matter what your situation is, the more that you begin to tell a new story, the rhythm is going to come, and you're going to start seeing it manifest in your life. You're going to start being able to see things kind of fall into your lap. You're going to be able to hold it. It's going to start becoming tangible. And then that is where the excitement is going to start coming in. And once the excitement starts coming in towards that new reality, then that's when you're really going to start seeing that momentum, because you're in this, like, I did it. I'm in appreciation. I see what I just did, but you have to be aware. You have to be aware of your surroundings, because sometimes we're so bogged down to the chaos and, the robotic state of ourselves that we don't even get to see the seeds that we're planting and how they have already bloomed. But because we're so busy and we haven't paused for a minute to look around, you might have missed it. And so if you're not aware and you're not present and you don't see yourself in that space, then how do you know that it's not already here? Which it is. You just have to show up for it. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys on the other side. Thank you so much for all of my supporters here on YouTube. I freaking love you guys. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you just even showing up for yourselves through my videos, and just be present in yourself. All right, peace.